Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show. He is the head boys basketball coach at Santiago. It is Carlos Castillo. The Sharks are off to a tremendous start this season, 17-5 overall as they gear up for Big 8 league play. And Coach, at 17-5, you guys have probably done a lot of things well, but through those first, 22 games of the season, what have you liked about this Sharks team?
First off, thanks for having us on. Love the fact that we get this opportunity to talk about Santiago basketball. The guys, we got off to a fast start this year. One of the things that we've done as a coaching staff is we went ahead and we challenged them with our schedule early on because we know our league's going to be coming up, and we want to make sure that we're preparing the guys for league. Early on, we went ahead and we played a Norte Vista team who's off to a really good start. We played some of the basketball powerhouses. In the IE, we went to Colony on the road. And then we just scheduled the Damien Classic and the Tarkanian Classic. And we did really well. We made it to the championship game in both. Unfortunately, we didn't win those, but we know we have some things that we have to learn and clean up. For my guys, I love the fact that one thing that we're focusing on is our habits and just the process over results. So starting over summer, you can see when the guys were coming in and doing their workouts, and you would see them starting to form that brotherhood together, where that chemistry, whether it was in the weight room, whether it was conditioning, training on the floor with each other, you can just see that camaraderie, and you can see that it was going to carry over, and that energy for us has. We were able to get off to a fast start. As you can see in our record, just the way they're gelling, the way they're playing, it's all very exciting times right now. We're loving it because it's just a brotherhood that's unselfish. You can see that any games, somebody can step up, and they all cheer for one another. It doesn't matter if you watch us 1 through 5, 1 through 8, 1 through 9, whatever the case may be each night. That ball is moving, and it's going to find the right guy for the right shot. And they just trust each other, which is awesome to see.
So, Coach, something you just mentioned, I just want to circle back to is, putting value in the process more so than the results. You mentioned playing at the Tarkanian, the Damien Classic, very tough non-league schedule. In fact, I was going to ask you about that Norte Vista team because people have told me how great this Novi team is. Playing that tough non-league schedule, like you mentioned, getting ready for Big 8 league play and hopefully a CIF playoff run at the end of the season. What did you learn about this team going up against really good competition at these tournaments and this non-league schedule?
For us, when you watch our team and we walk in, we don't pass the eye test. Just meaning we don't have too many guys that are above 6'3", that are 200 pounds. I have guys who come in there that are tough as nails. That are going to do whatever it takes to win the game. And we do that collectively. We know we have some guys like a Brandon Chapman, Bradley Wells, or Jalen Toshis who have to come in there, and they have to rebound somebody else's biggest guy on the court, and they're not going to end up with the rebounds or end up with the stats. But that's just that's the willingness and the unselfishness of the team, that they're willing to do their job and do their role, and somebody else is going to come in there and get the rebound. And for us, we played a Norte Vista team who's really, really good. It came down to the final stretch where we had to execute and we had to get a stop to win the game, and we were fortunate enough to do that. And then in the Damien Classic, we went up against every team had a guy that was 2 or 3 guys that were 6'6" or above. And they were athletes, and we just came and we just out executed them, and we played our game. And we were just, I wouldn't say we were tougher, but we were more scrappier. My guys weren't going to back down. We knew what we had to do. We knew it was going to be tough, and they were going to fight all the way to the end. And it proved it because the first game came down to the wire, and the semifinal game came down to the wire. The championship game was a 4-point game heading into the last 2 minutes. Unfortunately, we had a foul to try to make up for a gap, and they made their free throws, and we came down and missed some shots. But I'm very proud of where we stand at right now. We just got done playing a Chino Hills team that has 2 losses on the year, and we lost to them by 2. We played a great first half where we gave ourselves a good lead. Unfortunately, the first half, they don't reward wins or trophies. So that second half, Coach Lattimore made some adjustments, and we didn't execute as we would like to, and we ended up losing up by 2 points.
So, Coach, specifically to those tournaments, the Tarkanian, the Damien, being in those championship games, playing in that championship environment with something on the line, how does that prepare you maybe for some of the environments you might see in Big 8 league play and the playoffs, feeling like, oh my gosh, the season's on the line in this game, or, there's something important riding on this. It's a meaningful game. How do you think being in those situations can kind of prepare you for big games coming up down the road now?
And that's the one thing my coaching staff and we looked at over summer of, okay, what's going to be our goals? Where do we want to be? And so we try to get in games. Like we're in the Big 8. You're going to play a Roosevelt. You're going to play a Centennial, and that's who we want to go against. We want to be one of those teams. We want to be in the events, the Section 7s, the SoCal Lies over summer. And in the Big 8, eventually we want to be in these championship games where Santiago is always going to be in the mix. So for us, we knew, hey, the only way that we need to challenge ourselves to be ready to play against a Roosevelt and a Centennial is to go out there and play some of these big road games, play these teams that are bigger than us, that are better than us, and go prove it. We need to show the guys that we're able to do this, that this is a stage that we want to be on, and this is the level of competition that we want to go against. And like we said, we come out of the gate and we opened up with a Centennial and a Roosevelt, and those are two of the top teams in the state every year, regardless of record. They're always in the platinum divisions. They're always playing in a national schedule where they're both in the biggest tournaments. They're playing with all the college players that you see moving forward, and then they have some pros, which is nice for our guys. Later on in life, they'll realize that, like when we went against Jared McCain before, like you look back and like, I got to go against a guy who went to Duke, and then he went to the NBA, and he's continued to have success. So it's something to look back on. But when we step on that floor, we need to make sure that we're ready to compete. They're normal teenagers just like us. We just got to go out there and execute our game plan.
Coach, who are some of your coaching influences? Some of the coaches you played for or coached alongside with that kind of, made a lasting impression on you and the kind of style, the kind of way that you coach now at Santiago?
For mine, my first one would be my father. My dad coached me and my brothers when we were growing up. He was a big role model in the community. Just with my friends, players that were older than me and younger than me, he just always made a lasting impression. And that's something that I strive to be and continue to follow, of making sure, I'm a basketball coach, but I also have a bigger role in the community and in these players' lives to make a difference. And then from there, in San Diego, I got to coach with Jay Rolette and win a CIF down there in 2010. Robbie Sandoval that was down there. And then when I made my way up to the IE, I was fortunate enough to coach at Centennial for 8 years and got to see the tremendous program that Coach Giles run, and just his openness and willingness to share scouts, just individual workouts, just everything that goes into game planning and preparation. Did tremendous things for me and the college coaches that I was able to meet and pick their brains and go to clinics and just continue to be a lifelong learner. I'm at clinics, I'm watching video, anything and everything I can do. Reading books is tremendous for not only my mental health. I tell my players, hey, put away the social media, put down the phone, go ahead and read a book, learn. And it's been tremendous. I mean, being a coach, I can't think of anything besides being obviously a father and a husband that's just more rewarding.
Coach, how important was it for this Santiago team to maybe get some wins early on in this season, just to maybe build some confidence within itself, before you get to Big 8 league play, and like I mentioned, hopefully the CIF playoffs as well. But to like you said, beat some pretty good teams, compete against some good teams, Chino Hills, and the championship games of those tournaments and whatnot. Just to kind of have some confidence, some optimism. Like, hey, we can play with some really good teams. We can hang. Like you said, you might not have the the 6'8" 5-star forward, but you can play with these teams.
Correct, and that's the big thing is just our mindset. Just knowing if we get our mindset, just hey, we're not worried about going out there winning or losing. per se. Like, hey, fellas, we just got to go out there and be 1% better. Just go out there and stack up these little wins in the weight room today, on and off the court, in the classroom. Like, just continue to get better. And if we're doing that day in and day out, then eventually we can start to see the results. And I think early on, that's something that you were able to see. We ended up scheduling ourselves to get in the Kiwanis tournament. And the reason why we did that is because we wanted to have the opportunity to play a Riverside Poly or a Damien. And we were fortunate enough to make it to the semifinals and play against a Riverside Poly. In the first quarter, we were up by 1. In the second half, we let the game get away from us. But it's just giving those guys that confidence that these programs that everybody talks about, they're doing the same exact things that we're doing. They're just doing it as far as execution, they're doing it at a far better pace than we are. But for us, those are games that we need to prepare for our league. When you get in our league, when those games come down the stretch, that's what it's going to be for us. And every possession against Roosevelt, against Centennial, are those teams that we're playing against, and those teams that eventually we want to compete and hopefully come out victorious in the next couple of years.
I know it's a cliche, like trust the process, but it really is, right? You want to be like, like you said, what if you're in a close game with Centennial? You can go back to, hey, we've been in this situation before. We were in a ball game with Poly or Chino Hills. We've been into a tight ball game where every possession is going to matter. We're not uncomfortable right now because we've been in that spot before. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, it is, because we played against a George Washington team from Colorado, and they were 6'6", 6'7", 6'8". And I mean, just you walk in the gym and it's like, those guys are playing that team right there. It's not going to be pretty. And you can see we came out fast and we punched them in the face and we let them know that, hey, it's going to be a game. You guys better be ready for a war. And you can tell the energy was there from our guys right from the start. Our execution was on point, and we knew no matter what we were going to do, that they were going to use their size. They were going to try to bully us. We just had to stay packed together as a team and just be ready to execute our game plan. And we were able to do that and win the games. What was pretty neat too is we have our principal, Dr. Torres, is awesome. I mean, he came out to Vegas and supported us. He came out to the Damien Classic championship game during his winter break. So the support we're getting from the community, the support we're getting from our parents and the school has been tremendous, because now we're able to get people to our school and just come and watch a basketball game and see the facilities and everything that we have and the great things that are happening on Santiago. And we're just hoping to shine that light on our school more.
Yeah, Principal Torres, he's the man. Big sports fan, big supporter. He's the man. Coach, finally, I should know this, but I got your schedule up right now. There's a Big 8 League tournament, right, at the end of the year. So you only play everyone in League one time, and then you have the tournament at the end?
Right. So we'll play everybody once starting on Thursday. Mm-hmm. So our league games this year are Tuesday, Thursday. So you play everybody once, and that'll do the seedings for the league tournament. And then from the league tournament, 1 and 2 will have byes. 3 will play 6, and 4 will play 5. And that will determine everybody will get 2 games, and that'll determine who's playing in the semifinals. And the championship game is at Santiago once again, which was nice. It gave our school the exposure. Mm-hmm. Our guys got to see a packed gym that was just celebrating basketball and a great game between Roosevelt and Centennial last year.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun. Like you mentioned, Centennial and Roosevelt right out of the gate, followed by Corona, King, and Norco. And then it's all going to be on the line in that Big 8 League tournament at the end of the season. Coach Castillo, congrats on the early season success, but it sounds like you guys have some big goals still in front of you this year.
Correct. We do have big goals. We want to do well in the Big 8 in the tournament and then make some noise in the playoffs.
All right, Coach, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. That's Carlos Castillo, the head boys basketball coach for Santiago here on the Inland Sports Show. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Inland Sports.